industrial experience, he has handled various industrial functions such as manufacturing, HR, administration, planning, sales, coordination, management, and marketing. He has experience in various fields such as manufacturing, consulting, and HR. He is a certified auditor of ISO 9001, a lead auditor of ISO 14001, and OHSAS 18001, a certified lean manufacturing system, and a trained Six Sigma expert. He headed the unit's strategic management committee from 2009 to 14 of the Lakshya 5-year plans and is a regular speaker at CII forums and a member of CII Tamil Nadu. He has also judged numerous competitions. He's a trained practitioner in TQM, TPM, POC, project management, and has recruited various candidates for entry, middle, and senior management positions, and is also the principal of manufacturing innovations at InnoMantra Chennai. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
I would now like to introduce our head of the Department of Human Resource Management, DG Vaishnav College, Professor Dr. N.C. Martin. Professor Dr. N.C. Martin is a highly experienced academician and has about 20 years of academic and administrative experience as professor, HOD, dean, and registrar. He did his postgraduate in labor management and PhD in labor laws from the Tamil Nadu Institute of Labor Studies. He started his career as a lecturer from the same institution. He has held various positions in the arts and science colleges, engineering, and also media college. He held academic positions in various educational institutions such as Sri Chandra Prabhu Jain College as an assistant professor and HOD of MSW department, professor and HOD of MBA department of the SAMS College of Engineering and Technology. He was also the placement officer for the entire divisions of SAMS College of Engineering and Technology. During his tenure, he successfully placed engineering and management graduates in top-notch companies of manufacturing and service sectors across the country. He continued his career in St. Joseph's College of Arts and Science as the Dean of Academics. He worked as the registrar at L.V. Prasad Film School. He acted as a jury representing the Employers Federation of Southern India for the selection of companies for the best practice for the year 2018 and 19. He has also added numerous research papers and publications to his credit, and he is the expert in the subject of labor legislations and industrial law. He has given centum results in various HR specialized subjects in university examinations. We welcome you, sir. It is a true honor. This meeting is recorded for educational purposes. In case of any doubts or questions, the participants can unmute themselves or drop the queries in the chat box below. A feedback link would be provided at the end of the webinar. Please fill in the form to get your e-certificate. I now request Professor Dr. N.C. Martin to speak a few words on today's topic. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for the introduction. A very pleasant good evening to one and all for being participating in this webinar. And on behalf of management, Secretary Ashok Kumar Mundra and our Principal Santosh Babu, Dr. Santosh Babu, I hereby welcome everyone for being taking part in this topic of self-actualization. And indeed, I am very pleasant to welcome our resource person for the day, who has given his consent to host a webinar from California on the topic of self-actualization and HR perspective. Nagaraj Kumar sir, Principal Manufacturing Innovations at InnoMantra, Chennai. And also, I am very pleasant to inform that. So this is one of the 30th series of webinar for our Department of MEHR, DG Vaishnav College. So coming to the conceptual understanding on the topic of self-actualization. So as per Maslow theory, the concept is explained as the longer a person goes without food, the more hungry he will become. So the growth needs do not stem from a lack of something, but rather from a desire to grow as a person. Once this growth needs have been reasonably satisfied, so one may be able to reach the highest level called self-actualization. That is what we are going to have from our resource person. So the theory of self-actualization emerged out of this humanistic perspective. Humanist psychologists claim that so people are driven by higher needs, particularly the need to actualize itself. The self-actualization can mean a lot of things depending on the person whom you ask. So now the most broadly accepted definitions comes from Abraham Maslow, a humanist psychologist. He described self-actualization as a process of becoming everything you are capable of becoming. So this self-actualization refers to the state where an employee has realized his full potential, be it an organization or an individual. Maslow has described this level as the desire to accomplish everything that one can to become the most that one can out to be. In terms of an organization, the same rules can be applied to individual employees. So the need for self-actualization may be different for different organizations. So we can say that for one organization, it needs to be fulfilled when the other organization goes public as it grows, whereas for some other entity, this needs to be met when an organization has generated a certain amount of market value or a profit. So it all differs from the organization, different perspective, how it's going to achieve that. So in a brief, the need for self-actualization is met when the visionary ultimate visions comes into reality. So my question is, how can we achieve this level of need? So one, again, revisiting Maslow hierarchy theory to understand this level of need, an employee must not only achieve the previous needs, but also be able to master them. So the most basic level of needs consists of psychological needs, so which in terms of an organization are the tools necessary for that organization to exist. A workstation, a power, internet, and also employees, etc., will be considered as part of this. So the fundamental need is very, very important for one order to achieve the next level of need. So next we can say the safety needs as per the hierarchy. So the availability of the resources, technology, expertise, assets, and the capital are some examples of the safety needs of an organization. The third one is the need for love and the belonging. So in terms of an organization, some examples of belonging needs are having a positive team spirit, good employer-employee relationship, courtesy, and friendliness between the workers. So next need is the need for the esteem. So these needs can be achieved by meeting the self-esteem needs of the organization. So being confident as an organization and having a sense of achieving something significant are examples of meeting the esteem needs. When an organization achieves and masters its needs for esteem, so it is one more step closer to reaching its final need. So that is a need for self-actualization. So the final need may not be very easy to achieve for any organization, and there are going to be turbulent times in any organization. So the HR leaders must know how to act and respond during the time of crisis, and also they should be able to identify which stage of growth their organization is passing through. On the whole, we can conclude that the dreams and visions are two different things. A self-actualized employee feels empowered and trusted, so which encourages growth and engagement. So one of the important aspects is to be met is giving employees opportunities that allow them to succeed, and in order to feel self-actualized, so he should feel challenged at work, but not be overloaded with multitasking. So therefore, visualizing is extremely important in any organization in order to successfully achieve and master the need for self-actualization. So with this, I conclude and leave the session to a resource person to do much inputs and expertise on this topic of self-acceleration on the HR perspective. Thank you. All the best.
So thank you, Mr. Martin. Thanks for your opportunity, wonderful introduction, and nice context setting, so that from there we can take off. So it's a really nice explanation to the students, explaining the Maslow's theories step by step so nicely. Thank you.
But we need your practical exposure and input, sir, so that they have a well understanding whatever we derive from the conceptual.
Yeah. So, வணக்கம். எப்பொருள் யார் யார் வாய் கேட்பினும் அப்பொருள் மெய்ப்பொருள் காண்பதறிவு. அன்னையும் பிதாவும் முன்னறி தெய்வம், எல்லாம் வல்ல இறைவனுக்கு வணக்கம். It happened few years ago. There were two countries, country 2 and country 1. President of the country 2, let us say Mr. A, is visiting country 1, and and going to meet the president, Mr. B. It's a very significant visit. Lot of deals are going to be concluded. So the advisors of second country of Mr. A said, sir, even though you are not knowing English, we are not speaking English in our country, it's better to have one or two words in English. It will make, the pleasantries more. Like, how in India, when they visit Tamil Nadu, they will say Vanakkam. When Vanakkam was told by non-Tamil people, we get excited. So he told him, as soon as you meet the president, Mr. B, say, how are you? When you are handshaking. So he will say, I am fine. And you say, me too. So he had the rehearsal, and the chartered flight goes to the country 1, and Mr. B comes out beamingly from the plane, and to his surprise, the president, Mr. B, and his wife both were there right at the airport, walking towards him in order to greet. So he was very happy. So he met President. Mr. A of country 2 met Mr. B of country 1 and just asked, who are you? So it was a shock for the Mr. B. I am the powerful person in this country, and he is asking, who are you? But he was just, telling, he must be joking. Let us not take it seriously. And say, well, I am just husband of, my wife. Then immediately Mr. A answered, me too. So that was the, ignorance, which was, but subsequently they understood it's only a kind of a mistake that has happened, and they had a hearty laugh, and it augured well. So Mr. B thought my advisor gave a great advice. After my talking English, they were laughing with them each other. So that could be the ignorance is a bliss, maybe for hypothetical examples, but in real life, it's a knowledge that's going to be more powerful. So let us see. Now, this is the webinar design, and these are my expectations. Let me state it right at the beginning so that it will be useful. It will be an interactive webinar with subject and flavor of fun, like a flavored milk. So my expectation is listen with attention, kindly avoid multitasking, which will help you to concentrate more. Second, there are a couple of very small activities, some 2 physical activities. It will just help you to warm up. Please respond. At the end of every chapter, there are quizzes, some case studies, some videos are there. So listen. If there is any question, either you can unmute and answer, or use the chat box, where my friends, Mr. Narendran, Shalini, and Divakar, their team will help to read out the questions to me. And don't forget, takeaways are there. Remember the key points, implement both in your academic as well as when you join the industry. So with this, webinar design and expectations are spelled out. I'll go to the subject quickly. So it's about self-actualization. Am I visible?
Yes, sir, you are.
1 second. Am I audible, please?
Yes, sir, very much.
Are you able to see the presentation?
No, sir, actually.
Yeah, 1 second, please. 1 second.
Sure.
So that was, are you able to see now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is the first slide. Then this was I was telling the webinar design and the expectations. Interactive activities are there, quiz case study is there, takeaways are there. So this is the contents in which I'm going to deal about self-actualization to start with, and more in detail of the application at HR, because already Mr. Martin's nice words and your academics have paved the way for self-actualization. I will touch briefly. Then we travel through interesting aspect like with a case study and some quiz in manager as a leader. Then we will conclude. So this is the background. We have A, B, C, D sections. So we'll start with self-actualization.
I don't think the thing is visible. Do you want to confirm if they're able?
No. Is the screen visible? Hello?
Sir? No, sir. Okay, now it is.
Are you able to see the presentation, please?
Yes, yes, sir. I'm able to see the presentation.
Yeah, you are able to see. Can I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Narendra?
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Yeah, okay. So it's self-actualization. So we are going to see what is it, what, why, how, what are the characteristics of the self-actualized person, what is the action plan, how to live the moment with some quick activity, quiz and case study, very quickly. So what is self-actualization? It's, I'm reading to the left side, the psychological process aimed at maximizing the person's abilities, attaining one's full potential as an individual, need for personal growth and development throughout one's life. This was nicely enumerated by Mr. Martin. So in Abraham, in the right side I'm reading, what a man can be, he must be. This need we call as self-actualization. So next, self-actualization is about moving up to the next level and being the best we can be in order to give meaning to our life. So this is the real requirement when we reach a particular stage in our life. That is achieved by self-actualization. So the Maslow's theories are already told. In the pyramid, bottom is physiological, safety, love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. So beyond esteem, still esteem is not giving happiness. So the moment we go to the self-actualization, the real happiness surfaces. Now, so to sum up, let us answer the question, what? What is self-actualization? It's making it real or actual. Allow yourself to transcend beyond the physical realities, deep need for growth, and taking the ownership. The ownership is now with you. Desire for self-fulfillment. That's nobody else coming. It's only self. It's a mental state of pure happiness and peak experience. So one has to experience it. And it is the intrinsic motivation. Bruce Lee says the human goal is to actualize oneself. So why to achieve self-actualization? We saw the what, now we'll come to why. Process of becoming fulfilled and doing all one is capable of. See, we are capable of more things, but we are limiting ourselves to less. By self-actualization, we travel into the process of becoming fulfilled and doing all we are capable of. So how to achieve self-actualization? The potential to self-actualize is something that lies within us all. So to achieve success, the determining factor of success is one's mindset. The mindset is very important. Must always seek it and be willing to progress. So mind should be always growth oriented. Strive to expand one's horizons as a human being. Take steps necessary to unlock self-actualization. So I have, the great scientist says, I have no special talents. I am only passionately curious. And the great Subramanya Bharati said, live this moment, live without fear. So how to achieve? See, we saw what, we saw why. Now we are going to see how. How to achieve self-actualization? Fuller knowledge of and acceptance of one's intrinsic nature, realize potentials, capacities, and talents, continuous trend towards unity, integration, or synergy. Synergy is a combined action within oneself, fulfillment of the mission. So these are the how part of the self-actualization. So what are the characteristics? How do you know self-actualized persons? How will they behave? They will behave in the following way. They will embrace the unknown. They will accept themselves as they are. They will enjoy the journey, not just a destination. Am I audible? Narendra?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You are.
They prioritize. They do unconventional, and they are not getting disturbed. They are motivated by growth, not by the satisfaction of the needs. They are not troubled by small things. They focus on the big picture, greater aspects of achievement. So these are the characteristics. They share deep relationships and have affection towards humanity. Now, the link between self and humanity comes. They are autonomous, task-centered, practice mindful mediation. They are not perfect, but they are humble, grateful, have purpose, and they are able to forgive. They are creative and emotional alchemist par excellence, and most importantly, they give back to their communities. So these are the characteristics. So we saw what, we saw why, we saw how, we saw characteristics. Now action plan. How to do the action plan? How to become self-actualized? Stop measuring yourself against others. Instead, measure against yourself. Learn to accept yourself holistically. Understand that you are in control. Don't stop growing and become the best version of yourself. Become your best self. So actually, self-actualization is living the moment. See, we think the happy times are passive, relaxing, but it's not so. When we are busy, we may think, we can relax in a holiday, but that doesn't give great happiness. The best moments usually occur if the person's mind or body is stretched to limits. See the stretching of P.V. Sindhu. The stretching, both physically, mentally, intellectually, it's a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile. Now let's take a very small activity. I request you just stand up before your PC. It's only for 2 minutes. Just stand up, and we are going to follow the 5 instructions. When I say hands down, you see the picture, attention, and tell physiological needs. 1, hands down, physiological needs. So please do. 2, hands in the side, hands in the side. Tell safety needs. 3, hands in the forward. Love and belonging needs. Now hands up. Tell esteem needs. 5, hands up. Stretch yourself maximum. Stretch yourself maximum. See the picture? You can even stand on your toe. Lift your heel, stand on the toe, stretch maximum. So that if somebody measures, it is maximum. So this is self-actualization. So the real stretching, what you need, what I'm giving an example is physical, but if you do it intellectual to your capacity, that is self-actualization. Thank you. Please be seated. Shall we quickly see a small quiz? See, there are 5 needs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the right side, 5 statements, A, B, C, D, E. You have to tell one belongs to A or B or C or D or E. Can you just see and match? Can somebody say one is what? You can unmute and answer also. You can.
It's a C, sir.
C, sir.
Yeah.
C, sir.
Yeah, one is C, correct. What is 2?
D.
D, sir.
D, sir. D.
Very nice. What is 3?
E, sir.
E,
Very
sir.
good, very nice. What is 4? Esteem need.
A, sir.
A, sir.
Very good. So naturally, the 5th one is automatically B. So thank you. We'll go to the next one.
Yes, sir.
you see 1, 2, 3 with ABC. Don't go to 4, 5, 6. So what is what? Is it A or B or C? I'll answer. It is C, attaining one's full potential as an individual. That is what is self-actualization. This is what we saw. Why? Can somebody answer? It is A or B?
A, sir.
Very nice. So how? It is B.
B.
Now let us focus on 4, 5, and 6. What are the characteristics of self-actualized person? Is it D or E or F?
F.
I will answer for your thing. It's F. So what is the action plan? It is D or E. It's D. And live the moment. It's stretching to the limit. Now, please answer whether it is true or false, right? The psychological process aimed at minimizing the use of person's abilities. Is it self-actualization is psychological process aimed at minimizing use of person's abilities. True or false?
False.
False. Very good.
False.
You know, the maximizing, instead of maximizing, you have deliberately put minimizing. Attaining one's full potential as an individual. True or false?
True, sir.
True. Very good. Need for personal growth and development through one's life.
True, sir.
True, sir.
Prevent yourself to transcend beyond physical realities. True or false?
False.
False.
Wow.
Its correct word is allow yourself. Mental state of pure happiness and peak experience.
True.
True. True,
True.
sir.
Next is considered as
True, sir.
True, sir.
False.
Wow. Sorry,
actually
sir.
I will change it intrinsic to extrinsic. Hence it is
Intrinsic.
false.
False, sir.
Very good. So thank you. So we just got a quick grasp of what we said. We will just go to a small video clipping. So that's the clipping. The person, the hero Parker displays never say die spirit. It's the quality of a self-actualized person and eventually wins. Narendran, are you able to see the PPT clearly and hear the video?
So the audio is
Volume is
clear.
low. Fine,
The
okay,
video,
okay.
The video is clear.
The presentation PPT you are able to see, correct?
Not now, sir. Okay, now I'm able to see the PPT.
Yeah, now are you able to see the PPT now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So that's a brief of self-actualization. Now we will go into a broader topic, how it's applied at HR. So the application, see, we think actually HR is about HR management skills alone. But in reality, it is beyond HR management skills also. It comprises of 4 things: HR management, self-management, people management, and business management. You will be wondering, see, we are HR students, why all these other things are required? But it's actually required. Then only you will be a very successful HR professional when you join a career. So we will see each one of them briefly. See, this is going to be the method. See, this is a vast area and I have limited time. So we will see the applications of key points and the travel will be little fast. Because covering all aspects in this limited time may not be possible. So we will travel rather fast and take the key points, okay? So how self-actualization is applied in HR in each of these 4 areas: HR management skills, self-management skills, people management skills, and business management skills. So HR management skills, let us just list 6. Totally 12. 6 is there in this slide. Job design and job analysis, recruitment and hiring, onboarding, training and development, engagement, performance evaluation. 7, rewards and recognition, compensation and benefit, employee relationship and dealing with trade union, top talent attraction and retention, manpower control, and HR MIS, Management Information System. These 12 we are going to see key points with little more speed. First is job design and job analysis. What is job design? Describe the duties, responsibilities, and operations for a job. And it consists of 4 parts. What are they? Job simplification, job rotation, job enrichment, and job enlargement. What is simplification? Remove unwanted area, make it simple, make it more focused. What is rotation? Move employees between different tasks so that they get experience and variety. What is enrichment? Add dimensions to existing job, make it more motivating. So a person who is performing successfully will continuously get enriched in job. So the management, it's a signal management is happy with him. What is enlargement? Increase the scope of the job, extend the range of duties and responsibilities. It gives variety. What is job analysis? Describe the job requirements such as skills, qualifications. See, you fit people to the job based on this analysis. What is the requirement of the job, which will match with the skill, qualification, and experience of the person. So these are the key points in job design and job analysis. It's the first skill required for a HR management. Then recruitment and hiring. What are the competencies? Interpersonal skills required, decision-making skills required, and you should identify the best practice, and you should network and get the data. If you want to get a good persons for the organization, you should do a lot of networking. How to conduct the interview process? The HR persons team up with the functional heads in the interview process. Normally a panel is conducting. You see the picture? And what is important? Evaluation of the credentials for vigil against fraud. See, let me narrate my experience. See, once, one functional head, when I was head of HR, one functional head was desperately asking for a person. We tried different people. Nobody was able to fit. One person at last came, looked bright, promising answer. So immediately, seemingly, it was fitting. The head said, "When will you join?" He said, as soon as in a week's time, I will be in a position to join. Then before he leaves, I was asking my deputy to check his certificates. It was individual mark sheets were not available. Only the overall thing was there. He said, "Sir, in the native place, I left it by mistake. I came in a hurry." Then I said, "Subject you are showing this, you can join. When will you bring?" He said, "By next week." So he came. When we were leaving by about 5:30 in the closure, he came at about 5 o'clock and said, "Sir, the train got delayed. Here are the certificates." I just saw the certificates. Couple of them were appearing little new. And when I looked carefully, the years were little different. Then I asked, why the years are different? This subject you studied in second year or third year? It was an engineering thing. So he said third year, no, sir, second year. He was in a kind of a dilemma. Then he confessed that he had an arrears and he completed. So actually, as per our requirement in that, we don't take people with arrears. Hence, he didn't qualify. So had we selected in a hurry, he was so nicely presenting himself, giving, I forgot, train got delayed. So we should be careful enough to overcome that. That's how an HR manager should be vigilant enough. See, you can also prevent fraudulent persons. This is an example how to prevent. Now, see, the another big headache is once you find somebody as a fraud after joining, the headache content is more. So better to exercise caution before. And this particular terminology you may or may not have heard is a whistleblower. By definition, it's a person, usually an employee, who exposes information or activity within the organization. So the whistleblower gives exposing the thing. So there are agencies promoting whistleblowers. What we should do as HR manager? Should we encourage or discourage whistleblowers? We should go all out to encourage. Then only he will expose many things that will help the organization. So you should develop a bonding with the person who is a whistleblower. Give him the confidence and assurance. That's how we should proceed. Next is onboarding. I would say it's a kind of a honeymoon after marriage. It's the first step of getting a hire into your organization. It should be smooth to the candidate, and the internal processes of training in different areas shall be in place for the employees. So if the onboarding is done nicely, it gives a lot of satisfaction to the people who are joining because they come with big hopes. We should not give them any cultural shock. So in that sense, onboarding is important. So training and development, very important. So many people call learning and development. It's a very important aspect. Here, the training needs to be identified so that the competency gaps are filled, and that will enhance the performance. So what are the key aspects? Training need analysis, instructional design skills, and presentation abilities. These are the must competencies. So it's in today's changing thing, training assumes very high importance because skills are becoming obsolete. People to be continuously trained. And now, thanks to the online, the COVID-19 has brought up a new dimension of increased online training. It's a welcome sign. In fact, people realize the value of work from home. And I am sure post-COVID scenario also work from home will stay. Earlier, people had the doubts whether it will work. Now they are more than convinced it is controlling the cost, increasing the productivity, giving no escape to the people. It's working very successfully. So it is there to stay. So online training and work from home are there to stay. So it's very important. So engagement. What is engagement? It's a very interesting aspect which is gaining increasing importance. See, once an employee joins, you cannot leave him. You have to give some activity or other so that he keeps engaged. Otherwise, his mind will be distracted. The good HR person will always keep the talented people going in the organization. by suggesting a lot of improvement and excellence initiatives. That's why all these initiatives will continuously happen so that they are engaged and it gives vent for his performance. So what is a benefit of engagement? To the employees, it gives ownership and sense of satisfaction. To the management, it gives talent retention and productive results. So in both ways, it's very important. So engagement is one of the very important buzzwords today and practiced very nicely. It is the HR who should run this process, people management process. Then comes the performance evaluation. Very important. It balances the needs of management and employees. It enhances the professional development. The process is challenging, but rewarding also. If done in a proper manner, developments are framed nicely. Now, you will find everybody is busy and looking for wanting time. Only during one day in a year, that is the performance evaluation, you will have very close time, one-to-one with the employee, which will, really, if you make it nicely, it will bring out the best in the people. So performance evaluation is considered very, very important. And during the performance evaluation, every department has to do, the bosses have to do their job professionally, sincerely. It gives a lot of gain to the organization and department. Then comes the rewards and recognition. So they are, after the performance is evaluated, rewards follows. And what is the key? It should be fair and it should be motivating to perform the better. That is the key word. Now here you see in the photo, somebody is getting promoted, obviously. Maybe his boss is praising him, patting him. In today's world of opportunities, these are very, very important for talent grooming also, talent retention also. So rewards and recognitions are very important because the human mind has got continuous expectations. Then compensation and benefits. How to design the compensation? An effective compensation system and benefit structure should be in the place. They will enable attracting and retaining the top talent. See, if you are good company, lot of job rotation, everything is there, but compensation is poor means it won't make the person to retain. So here, what is the important traits? Industry practices, negotiation, analytical, problem-solving skills are the required competencies. So you should know the trend and fix the correct compensation and benefits. Then employee relations and dealing with trade union. I am sure seeing Dr. Martin's profile, he would have had immense experience in dealing with trade union in IR. See, in those days, HR was IR, industrial relations, and dealing the union was the main job of this manufacturing-oriented setups or in office kind of setups where union used to be very powerfully present. So what is the key aspect here is use tact, an important ingredient called tact. What is tact? Tact is the ability to tell the truth, sensitive information, or a difficult feedback. When you tell the difficult feedback, you didn't do it right. Like this, if you tell, it will be hurting. One of my bosses used to have a style. I'll be doing a great disservice if I don't point out this to you. Otherwise, you are doing. So in this way, if you start, you are going to tell a bad information, but it prepares the person to receive that information. So other people's feelings and reactions are preserved, but you are telling a negative thing also. And, there is something called dual focus, which HR has to focus. They have to follow the interest of the union also, management also. And they should get the information. HR is always information collector. Any information comes, HR processes nicely. They look for information and they will gauge the pulse and inform the top management. And HR has got an important role as a platform of balancing act. See, when trade union confronts management, the peace gets disturbed. During those times, the role of HR is, it's a very, very important. They are the people who do the balance. The union perceives HR as another entity which will bargain with management and get them benefit. So this kind of a dual focus is a very important role. It is like in a family, if a child gets unhappy with parents, it will go to grandparents or uncle to seek the support. So that role is very important. Then top talent attraction and retention. So you should give opportunities for learning and growth. See, today's people, if they don't get continuous opportunity for learning, they won't stick. So create the engagement, create the excitement, make them feel, no, they are adding value. And the exit interviews are very important. It is as important as entrance interview. You will wonder, what is exit interview? When person leaves on the last day or a day before that, he will have one-to-one talk. At that time, he will be in a kind of a mood. If he is, some people will live happily for opportunities. That is a small portion. More people will be leaving out of some frustration or other sufferings. So they will really vent. So this is a wonderful aspects of improvement. And HR has to record all that aspects. And the input has to be worked upon so that this serves as improvement for others. So that's the importance of exit interview. Then manpower control. See, in today's thing, today everything is dynamic. The order position is dynamic, execution is dynamic. So the manpower, gone are the days where we have fixed manpower and live with that. You have to, it should be flexible enough in line with the plans of the company. Suppose if there's a good business opportunity, for example, in the COVID, certain companies found great opportunities. Masks, sanitizers, they had rapid expansion. So they will be requiring a lot of people. So HR should provide people. In some other context, when business comes to a standstill, you should have a kind of a forced attrition for the purpose of cost control need to be practiced. This is a most painful aspect of a HR manager is the forced attrition. That is asking an employee to leave the organization. See, it is, you are carrying organization's interest, but it is very hurting to the employee. You have to do with utmost professionalism. You can help him out, give him enough time, help him out for placement. The smoother you do this process, better for the employee also, organization also. So it's a very important aspect of a HR manager. Then MIS, lot of information is required. What is the manpower? Is it in line with the turnover? Always top management will be worried. Am I having too many people or too less people? How to have it? There are certain departments have excess people, certain are starving for people, can we rotate? Why people are leaving? See, in those, when IT companies started, a lot of attrition was there. 18%, 22% used to be the attrition among the top 5 IT majors. So how to do the analysis? Who are the person leaving? Is the person rated poor is leaving or person rated good is leaving? Is it top talent leaving or poor performance leaving? All kind of analysis is required. And morale to be improved. What is the measure for morale? If higher the attendance, higher will be the morale. Higher the suggestions you get, higher is the morale. Then what is the benefits of the company in line with industry to be gauged? So management wants all kind of reports, daily reports, weekly reports, monthly reports in data, numbers, trends, charts, all have to be supplied by HR person. So these 12 qualities we studied as HR management skills. We will see whether we have absorbed. So I have taken the first 6. As usual, left side gives the title of the 6, right is in a jumbled manner. So you have to match one goes with A, B, C, D, or E, or F. Can you answer? Job design and job analysis. What is the correct answer? Is it A or B or C or D or E or F? Somebody can unmute and ask answer also. Put in the chat box also.
D.
Yes, perfect. Second, recruitment and hiring. So job design improves, Trust, value, and growth. Yeah. Recruitment and hiring.
F.
Perfect. Onboarding.
B.
Yes. Yeah, that's E. Correct. Training and development.
C.
D.
Yeah, perfect. Engagement.
B.
Yeah. And performance evaluation is target versus achievement A. Right? Now we'll go to the second 6. 7 to 12, you should fit A to E. Rewards and recognition.
E.
E, sir.
Something may be close, but you have to see.
D, sir.
Yep. Yeah. Correct answer is E. It's increment, promotion, gives a status. Then compensation and benefit.
C.
A, sir.
No. Something may be closer. See, if you put A here, something else will not have the proper. Correct answer is
C.
C. Perfect. Then how to deal with trade union?
D.
Yeah, perfect. See, as I told you, you'll have to be fair also. You should be tactful also. And collective bargaining will happen once in 3 years. It's a very interesting process for wage hike. People like Mr. Martin would have had a lot of experience in this. So it's very important. Next is top talent attraction and retention. A. Manpower control.
E.
F.
Oh.
Yes. HR. So it's only balance B. So that's fine. Now we have completed, what shall I say? HR management skills. Now we will go to the self-management skills, which are organization, fair and ethical, dedication, time management, and use of social media. Now, in organization, I don't know whether you are exposed to 5S workplace management, in which 1S is sort, keep in order, sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain. If you follow this, both physical files and as well as in PC, you can have proper storage and you can have quick retrieval of information. During audit, the ISO audit, they expect in 3 minutes people to answer. And especially if a top person makes a phone call, he expects the answer in 10 minutes. If you many times we feel we have the answer, but I don't know it is in which folder. So you should update as early and as often. And you must know the difference between efficiency and effectiveness. The efficiency is doing things rightly, and effectiveness is doing the right things. So you should know if you have 10 jobs, in the which order you will go depends on how effective you are, and how you are completing depends on how efficient you are. Both are important. And multitasking and coping with dynamic environment is a requirement. You know which gender is specialist in multitasking? That's there in the picture. Second is you should be fair and ethical. You should be impartial, non-favoritism, respect and privacy to be maintained. Keep confidentiality, ensure policies are followed. You go by the rule. As far as possible, never break the rules. Because once you break, you set a precedence. It's very, HR manager, if wrong precedents are kept, it is very difficult to satisfy or convince the people. Then adhere to morality, follow the code of conduct. So that's the second, fair and ethical. Dedication. So you should assist, coach, and develop employees. Do continual improvements and innovation. And when you are a HR professional, you should achieve something. And people should say, this is developed by so-and-so person. Many people, what is heartening to them is when they hear from others. When he was HR manager, he developed this system, that system, it was very good. In fact, people won't talk during that time. They will talk a little later. So always leave the imprints in the sands of time. time management, I think we can talk hours together on time management. I will only touch the key aspects. If you have 10 things to do things, you may not do all the 10. There is never, see the first line, there is never enough time to do everything you have to do. But there is always enough time to do the most important things. So it is your effectiveness of choosing which 3 jobs I should complete today. Remaining can be postponed to tomorrow, no issues. But most important, the report, the management requirement, the one required for meeting, one required for customer, all has to be are important. Many others, I'm answering some mails, other things will even get postponed. So the rules are finish the most difficult thing first. Please understand this is opposite to what we are taught in examination. So in exams we are told answer the easy questions, then come to the difficult questions, because that is to save the time. Here, finish the most difficult things first. When you finish the most difficult thing first, you get endorphins flowing. So lighter things can be completed in fast manner. You will find when cricketer hits, say, 212, first 100 he will take some number of balls. The second 100 he will travel lot more quickly, consume less balls to achieve the same quantity. Then vital first and trivial last, you can follow ABCD method. A is must to do, B is should do, C is nice to do, D delegate, E eliminate. That means all the jobs you need not do. D you need not do, delegate it. E don't do. Must, you should identify which is must to do, which is should do, which is nice to do. Answering a friend, saying hello to him may be nice to do. So you don't be in a hurry to do first thing in the morning. Then self-motivate and pressure for urgency. Focus one at a time and single-minded concentration. The concentration of Arjuna, he was only focusing on the eye. The right side, you have a matrix. This is given by Stephen Covey in his book of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. There's a matrix of urgent versus important in 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1 is urgent and important. 2 is not urgent but important. 3 is not important but urgent. 4th is neither urgent nor important. Please answer, we should spend maximum time in which quadrant? Can somebody tell, out of the 4 quadrants, which quadrant we should spend?
Not urgent.
Pardon?
Important. Green one. Not urgent, important. Green one.
Perfect. Perfect answer. I'm very happy. That is the one. So that means that crisis management of 10% you should complete very quickly. Have the 90% for planning, prevention, recognize opportunities, planning, all this. Good. Use of social media is very important. Use the appropriate media. Please exercise care in communication, because what you communicate matters a lot. And you can recruit people through LinkedIn also, talent outreach. You can use a lot of analytics. Today, HR is doing plenty of analytics. There is one is predictive analytics for the purpose of, improving the job. So we have seen the self-management skills. Can you match 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with A, B, C, D, E? One goes with
B.
Yeah, perfect. 2.
E.
No, 2 is actually C. Non-discrimination. 3, dedication. 3 is E. Time management is actually life management. That is B.
B.
Use of social media, we know Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, everything. Right? Next, we'll go to the people management skills, where communication, team building, motivational skills. So we have completed 2 skills, HR management skills, self-management skills. We are going to the 3rd one called people management skills. The 10 are listed: communication, team building, motivational skills, leadership skills, coaching and mentoring skills, problem solving and conflict management, negotiation, empathy, dealing with uncertainty, and dual focus. We will see quickly. Again, communication is a very broad topic. Active listening is the key. Out of the four, listening, speaking, reading, and writing, 46% we do only in listening. So active listening. So once as a Japanese prince was there, the ability to listen made him the prince. He should listen to the subtle sounds that made him the prince. Then you should understand body language. As a HR person, you should have another sense operating. The body language itself will reveal what kind of a message he is going to give, how comfortable is he. Words can be hidden. Body language cannot be hidden. So if you know the art of reading the body language, without person talking to you, you will get many information. Then your communication should be effective and impactful, whether it is oral or written. Even silence is a communication. The HR person uses silence as a method of communication. Team building, it's very important, required from a HR person. For people management, group is organized to work together to accomplish set of objectives. So what individuals cannot do, team will do. There are, norm, storm, form, and perform are the methods. Team building is actually a culture building, and the culture is very important characteristics of an organization. Many, people stick and shine only if they like the culture. They say, I don't like the culture of the company. These words you will often see. So culture building is a team building which is done by HR. Motivation. It's your ability to influence the employee for integrating personal goals with organizational goals. First, you should be motivated and you should motivate people below to perform better. See, again, motivation requirement will differ people to people. So it is not the same measure. You have to understand what for someone giving additional responsibility will motivate. For somebody sending him to a training program will motivate. For somebody, money alone will motivate. So you'll have to see what motivates that person. So you should understand the requirement and act to enhance the motivation. Leadership, again, it's a very big subject. It's an ability to influence people to perform. There are different leadership skills, different traits, different styles. So there's not one style that is important. Different styles to be used in different method. Maybe it's called situational leadership. And always upgrade the skills and upgrade the style. Coaching and mentoring. So we should understand the difference. What is coaching? What is mentoring? Coaching is a collaborative process between manager and employee to identify gaps in performance and improve. Mentoring is sharing the knowledge to the subordinate. Here, there is no need for hierarchical relationship in the mentor-mentee, but only through, it need not be from chain of command. A mentor of R&D manager can be a mentor of a production planning person also. So it is more going by inspiration and knowledge, not on chain of command. Both brings improvements to the organization. We should welcome coaching and mentoring. See, today in sports, the need of the coach is very well understood. Then problem solving and always conflicts happen. So good people management skills call for a lot of problem solving, a lot of tools and techniques are there. So what is conflict? It's perceiving something that is negative, but some amount of conflict, it is natural. Optimum conflict is good for the organization. What as a HR person we should understand is optimum conflict is good for the organization. So there are many models for, there's an avoiding style, dominating style, obliging style, integrating style, compromising style. To deal conflict management, we should have 4 qualities. 1, maintain the mutual esteem. Second, maximize the information. When there's a conflict, if information flows, conflict will get automatically dissolved. Use creativity and always see the big picture. Don't go by the small picture. If you see the big picture, many conflicts can be easily solved. Negotiation. Negotiation, 3 departments in a company follow actively. Supply chain do negotiation day in and day out to fix the prices. Sales and marketing do the negotiation. HR does the negotiation during the collective bargaining. So its the definition is settling the differences for mutual benefit and relationship. What is the process? The process is preparation, discussion, clarification, win-win outcome, and implementation of the plans. Always go for win-win. Otherwise, the negotiated thing will not last long. So, what is the proof of a good negotiation? It should be ethical. It should be sustainable. Yeah, empathy is a very important aspect. People understand, but many people do not practice in people management. The ability to understand, to share the feelings of others. See, if you see an elderly person or a sickly person, just hold his or her hand. That gives a lot of comfort. Give quality time, undivided attention. Make the people speak out and have a good eye contact, nod them. And the ability to stand the shoe on the others. And it calls for a lot of patience, concern, and wisdom. So it's a very important quality which you have to follow. Especially after the performance appraisal, after the, when rewards and recognitions are given, many people will come to talk one-to-one. So empathy, understanding is required. During exit interview, empathy is required. So there are many instances where empathy will be practiced, both for professional life also, personal life also. Dealing with uncertainty. See, today everything is uncertain. When COVID will enter? Uncertain. When will we regularly attend colleges or offices? Uncertain. All these uncertain. When the border conflict will end with China? Uncertain. So capability to act with incomplete information is the requirement. Uncertainty will slowly manifest into certainty. That means you cannot wait till everything becomes clear. Then you will be losing. So you have to still keep acting, keep going. So knowledge, as and when to seek the help of experts, professionals, and college. Have the knowledge. So that's the only method to deal with uncertainty. Dual focus. I told you, you should focus on people also, management also. Only HR department has got this unique quality of dual focus. So both will think that your HR is for us. That's the success of the HR person. While working for people, and get from management empathy, concern for people, and maintain the fairness. See, you should give the management objectives to the employees also. Employees real concern and real pain to the management also. In both ways, you should act. While working for management and get from people, rules and policies, works and objectives, progress to be communicated. So it's a balancing act to be done nicely as a part of people management. So people management skills can we quickly see. So there are 5. Communication.
D.
Can you see which will fit? I will answer to save time. It's
D.
a D. Listening, speaking, reading, writing. Listening is 40%, 46%. Team building is C. Group working to achieve a goal. Motivational skills is E. Getting people to follow you, it's inspiration. Leadership skills is A.
Yeah.
Coaching and mentoring is B. Same way, problem solving and conflict management is I will give
Overcoming hurdles and seeing big picture in the action.
Yeah. Can somebody say?
B.
Yeah, perfect. Negotiation.
E.
Perfect. Empathy.
A.
Perfect.
A.
Yeah, that is C. Dual focus. D. Fine. So now, next we are going to the 4th aspect, business management skills, where you should have the business insight. See, you are HR person, but you should know everything about business. Then only you can be successful. Business insight, strategic orientation, change management, corporate governance skills, and corporate social responsibility skills. So we'll see quickly what is business insight, what is the business we are in, what are the challenges and opportunities, how HR should support the business. I told you when order is booming, HR should bring as many people as possible. When company is in standstill, HR should say how to control the manpower. See, we should know the business insight. Then strategic orientation. See, there are long-term plans are called strategic plans. 5-year plans every company will make, 3-year plans, 5-year plans. So that is followed by initiatives to achieve the plans. So we require new skill sets required, and HR should help to acquire that. There should be somebody working in today's 2020, in 2025. What is the requirement? People should work today. For that, you should bring the people. Change management. See, always, the status quo need to be altered to improve the productivity. That's what CEO wants. There will be always, you heard the restructuring of the organizations. People are rotated, the kind of organization is altered. So this is to be done. So many a times we achieve business objectives through change management. Corporate governance is a very big subject. Today, a knowledge of corporate business governance is required. It comprises of basic legal structure, listing agreements, Competition Act, legal methodology, price-sensitive information, and insiders. See, if company issues shares, certain insiders should not reveal that information. So these are all important. Related party transaction and women at workplace, POSH, prevention of sexual harassment. Say, particularly the girl students have to understand their rights. What are there in the POSH? Many times there are a lot of laws are framed to get what they want. And if somebody misbehaves or violates the requirements, they can always complain. There are POSH committees, POSH reports, quarterly report, monthly report. So this is very important. So financial, social, and trade ratings are factoring corporate. See, today, certain companies like Tata's, like L&T, they get a good brand image because of the corporate governance. There's a corporate governance body, corporate governance members, and regular meetings, regular monitoring. And good corporate governance is a journey, not a destination. So I will skip this. This is something very simple. You have capacity, knowledge, and resources towards maximizing the stakeholders' value and well-being and progress of the stakeholders. That's a dharma. And truthful disclosure, transparency, accountability, and truthful disclosure of state of affairs. This is a requirement. So this is what corporate governance ensures. And from 2014, we get the corporate CSR, called corporate social responsibility. So what is the concept? There are three aspects. There is a social aspect, environmental aspect, and economical aspects. All the three should be merged. It considers all the three. It involves an interaction with stakeholders voluntarily. So the key is voluntarily. What is the aim? Create high standard of living, preserve the profitability and integrity of the corporation for people within and outside. See, there is a rule according to this, 2% of the profits to be spent on CSR activities, where there, as per the Gazette notification, there are about 15 to 18 different ways in which you can spend the money for education, health, for incubation, for defense, many things. Companies can donate the money. What is the process of CSR? It's a process which uses inclusive growth. What is inclusive growth? Everybody grows, and that's not the growth in mushroom level. Only few people grow is not inclusive growth. As a company, as a country, everybody should grow is inclusive growth, and it should be a sustainable development. So that's the business management skills. So can we list 1 to 5 with A to E? I will say business insight is C. Market, competition, we should have the knowledge. Strategic orientation is D. Long-term planning and
D.
Change management is E. Corporate restructuring comes under change management. Corporate governance is
A, sir.
A. A POSH is part of the corporate governance. CSR is mandatory from
B.
Yes, sir.
So this is what we saw in application of HR. It's very important. There are 12 aspects we saw in HR management skills: job design, job analysis, recruitment and hiring, onboarding, training and development, engagement, performance evaluation, rewards and recognition. I'm reading the list extreme management skills: compensation and benefit, employee relationship and dealing with trade union, top talent attraction and retention, manpower control, HRMAS. We saw 5 self-management skills. We saw 10 people management skills, and we saw 5 business management skills. So all these are application of self-actualization in HR. That is, you should enhance your potential, perform up to the potential. So that is the emphasis I'm giving here. Now let us see how far we have traveled. This I will skip. Okay. Just watch this.
There were 30 students in total who were selected for the last round. So when my name was called, I went inside with confidence and answered all their questions. It was right before I was to get out, this one guy asked me, "Okay, Arjun, are you going to join us on this call?" Yes. Please just wait also. Just one more question. Tell me something about your family. So my father was a professor, my mother was an education officer, and my sister is also pursuing engineering along. And are you not considering going for higher studies? No, sir. I plan on working after graduation. I'm not convinced. You will begin from in writing that you will not join our company, but you will go for higher education. Well, so that's definitely not on the cards right now. You come from a well-educated family, and you are telling me you will not go for higher studies. I'm really seeking a job, and I'm very interested in working with the company. Well, in that case, all the best. It was a pleasure speaking. Thank you. Result: 29 candidates got selected out of 30. And no prize for guessing. The one who didn't get selected was me. P.S. I am doing my PhD now. You can't fully enjoy that.
So this goes to say how the shrewdness of the HR person comes into the picture. He spots this particular candidate will not join. That should be the ability, which stands out. Question: if you are unsure, how would you answer differently to HR guest question? You can say, I have plans for higher education, but I want to get the experience first, then go for higher education. This answer might have given a seat. She said, no, I will not get, I will not go. So the person was very sure that she will not join, and rightly she didn't join. She's into PhD.
So, there are any strengths or weaknesses that I get? My strengths are my biceps, my triceps, my shoulders, and shoulders.
Now, question: what are the two mistakes done by the candidate? Can someone answer?
It's gesture and postures.
Fine. No. You are answering nicely. See, first one is
He did not understand the question properly.
He doesn't understand the question properly.
He misunderstood the strengths and weaknesses as physical. So goes on explaining how physically he has built up his body. What is the second mistake? The second mistake is he is not noticing that he is embarrassing the HR person, particularly a woman who is asking this question. She gets embarrassed, and this guy didn't notice at all. That's a big mistake. Second, right? I'm skipping. Okay. Now it's a quick case study. We had some 10-12 minutes in the initial thing. I request you to bear with me that it will go beyond 9 o'clock by another 10 minutes or so. Kindly bear with me. It's a case study on interpersonal skills in a HR department, right? So these are the characters. Mr. Abhishek is HR manager. Rachna is the supervisor. So he's an HR manager of a public utility company. His job is handle employee relations, which is important function. The department is responsible for request for information and grievance handling. He has a team to assist him with information processing executives. The main job is to handle day-to-day correspondence. This is the profile of this particular department. Correct? Now comes the Rachna factor. He has recently promoted Rachna as a supervisor. She is a commercial commerce graduate with 10 years of experience, very fast and accurate in MS Office. Other qualities are her polite and very friendly approach was liked by all. Next were Asha and Jennifer, who are less experienced, but they are more qualified, young MBAs and smart. So what happens, Rachana as a supervisor? She does good work allocation, but poor supervision. She prefers a friendly approach and unable to correct when team make mistakes. Completion on time and complaint resolutions are not happening properly. Ever since Rachana was promoted, there is a delays and there are errors. But Rachana voluntarily goes to the people, take their work, help them out for MS Office work. Question. The works head summons the Abhishek. There are complaints from other departments about errors and delays. So what are you doing? People take more time for coffee breaks, spend more time on personal calls. So these are the information. And Rachana's poor supervisory skills and how she deals interpersonally with fellow team cause concern. So works head asks Abhishek to inquire and set right. Please set right this immediately. So what he says, he inquires Rachana. He comes to know Rachana is very friendly with everyone, invited everybody for a dinner at home. They are comfortable with the freedom, but guidance related to work is poor. When there are problems, Rachana takes a back seat. When Abhishek inquires Rachana to ensure objectives of the department, Rachana replies, no, all are my friends. I worked with them all along. I cannot displease them. So Abhishek was critical at Rachana, and when he advised, she gets obviously depressed. So question, what are the mistakes by Rachana? So to save the time, I will ask the questions, I will give the answers myself, right? Questions, there are 5 questions. What are the mistakes by Rachana? Can a supervisor be friendly with the team and still effectively supervise the group? What are the mistakes made by the Abhishek? How Abhishek done a mistake by not promoting? Has Abhishek done a mistake by not promoting Asha or Jennifer instead of Rachana? If you are in Rachana, how you would have done differently? So these are the case study and the questions. To save the time, I will answer myself. What are the mistakes made by the Rachana? Relying on friendship excessively may help in the short term, but not in the long term. You cannot be friendly and get work done. Not understanding the roles of supervisor, that you should have a balancing act, work completion versus cordial relations. And she has not practiced interpersonal skills. She has no idea. She only thinks it's a friendship. Question, can a supervisor be friendly with the team and still effectively supervise the group? To display the characteristics that work is work and off work time can be friendly. Yes, during the job, you can be on to the job. Outside office hours, you can be very friendly, have parties, have fun, wish them for birthdays. Objective behavior scores better than subjective behavior in the long term. So she always goes subjective. That's a mistake she has done. Third, what are the mistakes made by Abhishek? Abhishek was reactive. See, as a HR manager, he was not reactive, not proactive. Should have given training and supervisory and interpersonal skills to Rachana. He simply promoted. What qualities? She was all along one among them. Suddenly she became a supervisor. After promotion, she should have watched and guided Rachana instead of getting someone from work side. So he simply was living in his own world, not monitoring what is happening. So that's bad on the part of Abhishek. Next question, has Abhishek done a mistake by not promoting Asha or Jennifer instead of Rachana? No. Individually, Rachana was promising. She was fast, accurate, likable by all. As supervisor, she must have been guided properly, grooming from hard work to smart work. But there are companies, promotion of Asha or Jennifer, who are 3 years experience and young MBAs may have caused problems unless they are outstanding. In government organizations, only seniority. In regular companies, at times when there is a valid risk, they go beyond seniority also. In knowledge-based company, they have no respect for seniority, only the smartness that counts. Like a consulting firm, Asha or Jennifer may be calling the shots. If you are Rachana, how you would have done differently? understood by talking with Abhishek roles and responsibilities, analyzed SWOT analysis, particularly the weakness, requested for training on supervisory and interpersonal skills, studied Asha and Jennifer, what makes them smart, picked these qualities, would have sought a feedback from the team, other departments, and HR, whether she is functioning supervisory. She can go to HR and ask for some feedback. They will guide. People have to walk to the HR and seek the help. This kind of a give and take should happen. Would have brought some self-improvement books on supervisory skills and would have followed Abhishek's advice and affected course corrections. Now, I have 3-4 quick questions. This is an example. What is the capital of India? I will give 4 choices: London, Dhaka, Mumbai, and Delhi. We know what I'm telling is, if somebody says London, it's a blunder answer. Eliminate that answer first. If you say Dhaka, it's a wrong answer. Though it is close to India in Bangladesh, eliminate second. People can still confuse between Mumbai or Delhi. Sometimes, many people will think still New York is the capital of US, not the Washington, D.C. So that's a close answer that should be eliminated third, and spot the right answer. So this is the key. When your subordinate makes a mistake and your boss questions you first, you will A, apologize and correct, B, clarify that it was committed by your subordinate and correct it immediately, C, teach your subordinate how to do it right the next time, 4, ask your subordinate to meet your boss. Which one you will follow?
C.
C is not the right answer. Anybody else? Actually, the correct answer is A. The blunder answer is D. It's like, London is the capital of India. It is, right? In front of the boss, you just apologize. Teaching and all comes later. Next, in appraisal session with the team member, you spend most time on whom? Yeah, analyzing team members' past performance using quantitative data, talking about his behaviors and manners, negotiating the hike he deserves, discussing his or her plans to excel through competency development. Which one? A, B, C, or D? Which is the correct answer?
D.
Perfect. D is the perfect answer. Which is the blunder answer? B is the blunder answer. It's not a session to talk about behaviors and manners. That is very, very mild mention is enough. One of your trusted team lead says he would like to work for another manager. See, from your team, somebody says, sir, I want to work for another manager. What will you do? A, you rate him poorly in the exit appraisal. B, you point out the disadvantages of working with the other manager. C, you would find out why and let him go if he has a valid reason. D, you try to convince him that he will get better opportunities if he stays with you.
C.
C, sir.
Which one?
C.
C, perfect.
C.
Perfect?
Yeah.
Right? Blunder answer is A.
Yeah.
You are proficient in a hot skill that you got a special status. What you will do? Find a job that can pay you even better. Keep the assets related to a skill in a protected folder. Help people when they have doubts on the subject and ask you. D, create a portal with assets and share it with as many in the team as you can. Which is the correct answer?
D.
Which one? D. Perfect. C is close. B is the blunder. You are working towards a key delivery to a customer. One of your team members asks you for time to discuss his personal problem. See, you are very busy. Somebody is asking for your time. What will you do? You ask him to meet you the next day after explaining your situation. Say, I have a very important meeting today. Can you meet tomorrow? Will you tell that? You ask him to meet the team lead. Can you meet my next person? See, tell him not to disturb you. Or you hear him out and buy time to provide a solution. Which is correct answer?
D.
D. Perfect. Right? Yeah. Next is, if coming to meetings in time is important to you and one of your favorite team members comes late often, A, he is using his mind time, so spare him. B, sternly warn him private. C, jokingly mention when he gets a message. you stop believing in any way. Which is the correct answer?
C.
C.
No. C is not the correct answer. The correct answer is
sir.
B. See, as a friend, you follow C, but as a boss, you should follow B. Okay, so we will skip the other thing. I will go to the conclusion. So we saw what was actualization, self-actualization. We saw how to apply self-actualization in 4 different areas. We saw some case study and some questions on how effective we are as a leader. Now we are concluding. See, these are the books on self-actualization. Some more Mr. Martin will also suggest. And I suggest strongly all of you must have read that 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It was once practiced. It's 20-year-old, but still it's valid. So there are other books also available. You can improve your knowledge on these books. So those who want to enhance the knowledge, these are the clues. Next, there are some quotes on self-actualization. See, interestingly, it comes from actresses and very ordinary people. No matter who you are, no matter what you did, no matter where you come from, you can always change, become a better version of yourself. Madonna, see, she had nice method of telling. The joy of life is those who are hard to demand. Do your own thing on your own terms and get what you come for. So like this, there are quotes. Left side, if you plan on being anything less than you are capable of being, you will probably be unhappy in all days of your life. So, best thing is, why do you want regret session in later part of your life? Better, instead you can work now and move up and enjoy. Become what you are capable of doing. And a very famous quote from our then President APJ Abdul Kalam, our birth may be an incident, but our death must be a history. உனது பிறப்பு ஒரு சம்பவம், ஆனால் உனது இறப்பு ஒரு சரித்திரமாக இருக்க வேண்டும். Very nice wordings. Right? Now, see, the life's achievements can be put in this chart. There are 4, it's a matrix of 4. Efforts on the x-axis, goals on the y-axis. So, left side is low efforts, right side is high efforts. Y-axis, bottom is low goal, high is high goal. If you have low goal and low efforts, you are hibernating. You are only surviving. What is hibernation? See, frogs, when they are not getting food, they will simply, stand still, stop all activities. Hibernation is only surviving. It's a waste. Second, you are giving good efforts, high efforts, but your goals are very low. I want to join a company. I want to become a manager. These are the very low goals. Many people keep very low goals. The greatest danger in most of us is not our aim is too high and we miss it, but it is too low and we reach it. Michelangelo's very famous quote. Let's go to the third quadrant called imagination. Here, very high goals are set, but efforts are not matching. I want to become CEO. I want to become HR director. I want to achieve something. I want to publish something. I want to start my own industry. High goals. But if your efforts are low, it will not yield the results. Half-hearted efforts do not give half-hearted results. It will give no results. So the best thing is have high goals and high efforts. And self-actualization will help you to achieve setting high goals and matching with high efforts. Henry Ford says, harder we work, the luckier we get. Those we call lucky, he is very lucky. He has put in that much of hard. Tendulkar is lucky. No, he has practiced that hard. Then only he became the god of cricket. So everybody, puts in the efforts. Now, these are the personalities. I will finish it in another 5 minutes max. Request your patience because we had some 10-12 minutes delayed start. These are the people practiced, in history mentioned as, self-actualization. Einstein, I would say a lot more people are to be mentioned, it's only the famous people are mentioned here. Can you tell quickly? This is self-actualization characters are coming in movies. Which movie it is? Quick answer. We finish in
Lagan.
Ladakh.
Super. This one.
Gunjan Saxena.
Perfect.
Gunjan Saxena.
Perfect. Gunjan Saxena is perfect. Kargil girl.
Chak De
India.
Chak De India.
3 Idiots.
3 Idiots. Dangal.
Bahubali.
It is very easy. So I will say, what should be the title of this among these 5? Person, position, profession, precision, possession. Which one you will put as a title?
Person.
No, person means you are only voting for hero. Prabhas is good.
Precision.
Correct answer is precision. See, it teaches how precisely to take 5 so that you can kill 5 at a time. Which movie?
Life of Pi.
Life of Pi.
Thank you.
Surai Portrait.
Very good, very nice. Okay. Now, who else are there? See, we saw some characters of self-actualization. Research gives only 2% of the population practices self-actualization. But I understand in some packets of Chennai, some have just commenced their journey towards self-actualization. Do you want to know who they are? Some people have just started. They are going to start now. It's you. If you put your photo, he or she, you are the person. Yes, you can practice self-actualization. It's not for only selected few. Now, this is a concept diagram. Before we were in an inner circle. That is self-actualization applied at HR. We never know we should practice HR, self-management, people management, business management. HR is only HR. Now you expanded your territory, cover more area, stretch yourself so that you can enhance your potential, reach your potential. So the red is now. So inner circle is before this program, outer circle is after this program. Now, if I ask a question, who is the king of jungle? What is your answer?
Lion.
But sorry, I wish to differ. I am not agreeing. Because I am telling you a reason. It is not the largest animal. Elephant is the largest. It is not the fastest. Is lion faster? No, never. Cheetah is faster. Eagle is faster in catching the prey. Is lion a brainy animal? No, it's not the wisest animal. Our big brothers, chimpanzees are more brainier than lion. Then why lion is called the king?
Courage.
It's courage and self-confidence. It says, I am the king of the jungle. So, for lion, it is self-confidence. For you, it is self-actualization. Practice self-actualization, you will be the king in whatever field you practice. And all the best to you. So we will just take a pledge and close this thing. Can you repeat? Unmute and repeat. From this moment onwards, can you unmute and say?
Yes.
From
this moment
onwards,
I shall apply.
I shall
apply
The knowledge gained in
the knowledge.
gained in
self-actualization applications in HR, training session,
applications in HR
Actualization.
to transform myself and
to transform myself and
I am becoming to be a winner in my life.
becoming to be a winner in my life.
I will be successful.
I
will be successful.
I will be successful.
I will be
I will be
successful.
successful.
And I will be successful.
And I will be
And I will be
successful.
successful.
So thank you so much.
Thank you,
You
sir.
have are most welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Wonderful
Thank you
session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Any questions, whether it is through chat box or unmuting and asking, I have all the time.
I have a question,
See,
sir.
I am at Pacific time. It's only 7:45 a.m. in the morning at California, USA. So I have all the time. Only your time is limited. Any questions are welcome.
Yes, I have a question, sir. Please. I do have a question, sir. Can I ask it out?
Yeah, please.
Sir, I have a from your presentation that I have I have understanding, but
Yeah.
I doubt that is self-actualization being stopped, or it can be sorted during our comfortable zone.
No, see, actually, it's a very good question. Many of us have got a habit of keeping ourselves in our comfort zone. The moment we step out of our comfort zone, our success starts. It's always expanding the horizon, becoming, being what one is capable of. See, many people before, they were very ordinary human beings before they made the achievement. And after the achievement, everybody is wondering. So somebody started Infosys, Narayan Murthy started Infosys, 4 of them, very ordinary became very successful company. Ratan Tata, Mr. A.M. Naik, 75-year-old Larsen and Toubro, such a contribution in variety of fields, including defense. Many things, people, when they started, he started as a very ordinary being. So the self-actualization is the key where you can expand yourself. You break open the complacency, keep learning, and compare only with yourself. Don't compare with others and get demotivated. So that's the clue I will say. You have your own benchmark. Go on expanding your horizon.
Just not to interrupt, sorry, sir. I would like to say, ask clearly that it's not like initially starting, but the thing is, like, for example, I'm an employer. So as same as coming to a step ahead, for example, as a senior executive or some positions, you find something which is a comfortable level. You have own a team. So at the time when you start, and at the current scenario, you came from a path. Okay. So at the path you have some struggles. You self-actualization yourself. You give some sacrifices. But once you go for a stop, then you realize that, okay, this is enough, and some people may eventually stop. So is it the place their self-actualization stops from the comfortable zone? I would like to clarify.
Yeah, good question. Self-actualization doesn't stop at all. It's a journey, not a destination. So lifelong it will continue. I mean, till one person has his last breath, self-actualization continues. It's like a learning. There is a proverb, live as if today is your last day. Live as if today is your last day. Learn as if you will live forever. Learn as if you will live forever. So in that sense, even if you become managing director of a company, even if you are very successful, don't get arrested in that zone of comfort. Move beyond. That's why the yardstick is your own. You are not comparing with, say, I have joined CEO club, I have become president club, I have raised to the HR director. No, it doesn't stop. And it's not necessarily position. Your talent should come out. If you are a philanthropist, you should give the joy of giving. If you are a good person, to some extent, I feel happiness in sharing the knowledge what I have. This is self-actualization for me. And I have enrolled in 2 courses. I have come to US. I am doing 2 courses, on design thinking and on innovation management. So learning more and reading more, sharing with people more. This is what I consider. So it's all differing from people to people. For somebody, giving huge amount of money, somebody giving a physical service, somebody entertaining people. It differs from people to people, but never stop at a point. That means if you are stopping, you are getting arrested to the zone of comfort. Come out of the comfort zone, keep traveling, and till your mind says, yes, I have reached. Otherwise, Maslow's words, you will feel regret later. I wanted to become, but I didn't become. That you should never have regrets in the evening of your life. So keep working. And it's not status or money or anything. Self-actualization is not meaning, sir, I became richest. Am I self-actualized? My answer is no. It's not the money. It's not the position. It is your own mind, what it says. Reach that. Stretch yourself. Stretch. And you will find you have greater possibilities.
Understood, sir.
Yeah. Any other question, please?
Sir, I have one question, sir. Thank you for this session. It's wonderful session. Got a lot of insights. If I want to keep track on the self-actualization on every day, what would you recommend us to practice? I understand the self-actualization. You've given a great, big lecture, but every day, I have to make sure that yes, I am on the path of the self-actualization. How could I stay on the path?
Yes.
Can you recommend?
Very simple. If you are progressing, you are in the path. You monitor your progress. Set goals are something where wishes are written down in paper with a time frame. Within this time frame, I should acquire some more qualification. Within this time frame, I should give 2 more papers. Within this meeting, I should acquire some more great friends. If you keep a plan and if you progress in the plan, you are in the path of self-actualization. And it never stops. There is no destination. It's an endless journey. And it's not measured with money, position, or anything. It's your own mind should say, I'm happy, I'm happy. People, after becoming rich, they found happiness is missing. Only when an artist makes a wonderful masterpiece, then only he gets happiness. That's how you should be. You should be the best person, best creator of your own wish. Fulfill your own wish. That's self-actualization.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any further queries, you can always mail me and I will be pleased to answer, or connect me later offline. Now, what I want to say is this can be applied. See, many times we make a mistake. Gandhi is great. Let us put Gandhi's portrait everywhere. Print Gandhi in currency notes. Pray Gandhi. No. Follow Gandhi in truth, in practicing truth and non-violence. In the same way, self-actualization as a concept we know, but we don't attempt to practice. I am only preaching. Please attempt. Everyone can practice and progress. That's what my aim of this is.
Thank you, sir. It was a very insightful session, and many have in the chat box. Many have dropped their appreciation message, saying the session was very insightful.
Thank you. If only I am given more time, will give many more things. For want of time, I made a fast travel of key areas. In-depth travel is also possible, given the opportunity. If opportunity is given.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So I would now request Balagauri to render the vote of thanks. Balagauri?
Yes. Guard your thoughts, for they shape your future. I, Balagauri of First MA HRM, take this wonderful opportunity to thank our esteemed speaker, Mr. Nagaraj Kumar Krishnaswamy, Principal, Manufacturing Innovations at Innomantra, Chennai, for sharing his valuable insights and knowledge on the topic Self-Actualization Application at HR. I would like to share a few key takeaways from today's session. Self-actualization is attaining one's full potential as an individual. We learned application of self-actualization in HR management, self-management, people management, and business management skills. Stop measuring yourself against others. Instead, measure your own potential. One's mindset is the determining factor for success. We, the future HRs, would really work on the understanding provided by our lively speaker. Sharing is caring is an age-old proverb. True to this thought, I would like to thank our HOD, Dr. N.C. Martin, the pillar of our PG department of HRM, for arranging this webinar, and our professor, Ms. Subatini, for her support to organize this webinar, providing us with an enlightening tour to this pragmatic arena of HR. Finally, I extend my gratitude to the participants from various professions and students. Kindly fill up the feedback form which is provided in the chat below with your name and email ID. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you all and have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Martin. Thank you, Subatini, Ms. Subatini. Thank you, Ms. Balagauri, Ms. Shalini, Mr. Narendran. All people, great institution. Thanks for the opportunity. Would like to connect you with you again. Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir. The pleasure was ours.